Hey guys, so in this little video, I'm just going to introduce the values worksheet. Now, the reason why this is important is that basically, as human beings, we are controlled by what we most value and what is imprinted in our deep subconscious mind. Now, I don't want to get too sort of deep down into the old hippie how the mind works and all that kind of stuff, but I just want to tell a little story. So recently, I came across a guy who I'd not seen for a long time, and I remember very vividly that every time I used to speak to him, he used to slag his brother off like you would not believe. Like he just used to absolutely slate him about everything. There was hatred there was detest, and it oozed out of everything that he said. And recently he passed away. So when I met him again, it was completely different. He had this newfound love for his brother that and he just sort of waxed lyrical about how he loved him and he was so great during life and all this kind of stuff. And I went, hang on a minute. I said, you used to hate him. You never had a good word to say about him. You never got on. You was always fighting. You had physical stand-up fights in the bar. I remember that. What's changed? And he says, well, I'm not the kind of person to speak ill of the dead. And that's what I'm kind of talking about. What kind of person are you? What kind of person, are you the kind of person that avoids fast food? Are you the kind of person that goes running regularly? Are you the kind of person that is always polite to their elders? You know what I mean? You'll have these deep-rooted beliefs of what you are and what you value and what traits and everything, you possess. Now, they can change and we can change and we can actively work on changing them, and some of the work in the book will do that. But if we don't live to our values, then we can have what's called incongruence. We can have like an inner problem where we're just not living with the beliefs that we hold dear to our heart. And it's worth knowing what your values are. And then what you can do then is, if you're trying to do something, let's say your greatest value is family, and you're training for the MDS. And family always seems to get in the way. You don't go running because your family needs you to stay home, cook tea, or you like watching TV with your family, or you want to see the young girls before they go to bed, and you've been at work all day and all that kind of stuff. And there's a disconnect, there's incongruence. You need to be out hitting the road when actually your highest value is screaming out for you to stay in and have some family time and all this kind of stuff. So you can kind of see how it works. So if you establish your values, what you can do then is you can start mapping across your goals to your values. And this is what this little cheat sheet that I've put together here does. So basically what I've got listed here is 50 of the most common values. These are the ones that I usually focus on with my coaching clients and sort of, pick them out. Which one, basically, you read through them bit by bit and you will get some kind of resonance we want. Okay, so it might be adventure. Adventure might be a big thing for you. So stick it in, write it in the box down here. You might go down and balance might be one, or compassion, or challenge, or growth, or whatever. Work out what your most common values are, and you're aiming for between 10 and 12. Don't overthink it, okay? Or what I should say is just let it flow. You will come across these words. Some of them won't have any sort of inner connection. Some of them will jump out immediately. Write them down into this box one, and that's step one done. Then what we need to do is just quickly have a look and is there any that are very, very similar. So you might have, let's pick an example, you might have authenticity and you might have autonomy. Okay, now authenticity, living to your values and being authentic and all this kind of autonomy, like standing alone and doing your own thing and all this kind of stuff. You might look at it and go, well, actually, they can be encompassed in the same thing. And the one that really stands out is autonomy. So you stick autonomy down. So what I want to try and do is just sift through and delete anything that could be sort of, that could be like one word will do. Classic why use one word when 500 will do. But work out which ones you can sort of delete. Just cross them out and keep the ones that mean the most to you. Step two, then we want to pick out what your highest values are. So basically, just pick out your top 5. Whack them in here. Sort of 1 being this is the one that is most important to you. 5 is the one that's least important to you in the top 5. And same again. I wouldn't really sort of spend too much time overthinking this. And remember, it's what you value, not what your showing right now, because you may be living in an incongruent manner. So you might have like a real value for freedom, but you're not, you're not living in a free manner, so you put it down at 5. But if you're like, no, that is really, really important to me, it needs to go at number 1. So then what we're going to do is I basically got another sheet here. So step 3, list the goal that you're failing to make progress with. So put your goal in there. It might be training for the MDS. It might be losing 12 pounds. It might be, starting a new business. Whatever it is, whack it in there so you've got it in the center, in the front of your mind. And then what we need to do, and this is a real tough bit, is I want you to think deeply about your goal and how that goal will meet any of the values listed above. Okay. Feel dodgy writing there, as always. You know what? I'm going to change that because I'm a massive believer in progress over perfection. You kind of understand what's happening, so we'll leave it there. And your aim is for a minimum of 20 ways that your goal will meet your highest value. Ideally, you want 50, okay? Because what we're doing there is we're creating new neural pathways and new beliefs and all this kind of stuff. And your mind's got to run the program a good few times for it to become habitual and to become imprinted in your brain. So here's an example. Freedom is my number 1 value. So back in the day when I was training for the MDS, it was long hours, trudging the street and all this kind of stuff. And, at first I was like, I'm not sure how it does meet my number 1 value of freedom. But so then I flipped it and thought, well, no, because when I'm out and I'm out running, no one can phone me. I'm free. When I'm out running, I'm out in the fresh air and all this kind of stuff. I feel free because the air is whispering through my wispy hair. I can feel it go past my massive ears and all. I feel free when I'm out there running around the streets. What else? Not costing me anything other than a little bit of time, other stuff. So you can kind of see how we can map it across. Now you need to really work hard to get minimum 20, ideally 50, and you can do it with any number of goals. Okay, so spend a little bit of time and work through these values. Obviously, you can download the worksheet in this little page here. So let us know how you get on. Remember, get in the Facebook group and let us know how you get on with these values and tell me if it really resonates with you. One last thing before I go, it's perfectly normal to have something like a real outlier type value. So you might have like authenticity, achievement, adventure, authority, autonomy, balance, spirituality. Okay, and you sort of think, well, I can see a trend in those 4, but then I've got a mental one out here that's just, I don't even know why that resonates with me. That's perfectly fine. That happens all the time. I see it all the time. And it's also possible that there is no way. You just cannot think of a way to map your goal across. If that's the case, you really need to think about what you're doing, because if you can't map your values across, you're not going to achieve it. You're really not going to achieve it. If you need help, hit me up in the Facebook group or send me an email or whatever, and I'll help as much as I can. So until the next video, take care.